Friendship is supposed to be a safe place, a shelter, home. But what happens when the home you trust catches fire? Lit by the very friend you opened your heart to? This is the story of Amara and Clara, two childhood friends whose bond was unbreakable. Until jealousy began to whisper, and envy found a place to grow. Prepare for a journey of heartbreak, secrets, and shocking betrayal. This is the evil best friend. Amara had always believed that friendship was a gift, something sacred, something to be held close once found. And for as long as she could remember, that gift had come wrapped in the form of Clara and Nwankwo. They had met 12 years ago in boarding school, two shy girls bonded by loneliness and late-night talks. Over time, their lives intertwined like vines climbing the same tree trunk. People admired their closeness. People envied it. People assumed it would last forever. But people rarely saw the shadows that grow behind familiar smiles. Amara was now 27, graceful, hardworking, and known across her community for her kindness. She ran a small but thriving interior decor studio, transforming dull spaces into warm, artistic havens. And in every celebration, every heartbreak, and every milestone, Clara was always there. Or so Amara thought. Clara had a beauty that announced itself without effort. Tall, caramel-skinned, with a voice like soft velvet. Behind that elegance lived a hunger so deep it trembled inside her. A hunger to be the one people adored. A hunger to live the life she felt the world owed her. A hunger to be Amara. But Amara never suspected. She only saw a sister. Someone she trusted more than anyone else. Someone she could call at 2 a.m. Someone she shared secrets, laughter, and dreams with. Life was peaceful. Until love walked in. And love, for Amara, arrived in the shape of a calm-spoken, gentle, successful architect named Tund Bamadil. Their meeting had been accidental, a spilled drink at an arts exhibition. Tund apologized 100 times. Amara laughed it off. And by the end of the evening, something soft had blossomed between them. Within 3 months, they were inseparable. Within 6, they were planning a future. Clara smiled and clapped and said all the right things. But something dark flickered in her eyes whenever she looked at them. Something Amara never noticed. Something dangerous. And that was how the shadow behind Amara began to thicken. Quietly. Patiently. Waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Clara was clever. Clever enough to hide envy inside laughter, disguise bitterness inside compliments, and bury resentment beneath warm hugs. She began small. Comment here. Suggestion there. Little whispers disguised as concern. Amara, are you sure Tund isn't moving too fast? You deserve someone who worships you. I don't think he does. Do you trust him completely? She always said it softly, always with a sigh, so it sounded caring, not poisonous. Amara brushed the comments aside. Clara was her friend, her sister. Why would she mean harm? But Clara was weaving strings. Invisible strings. Strings she intended to tighten around Amara's life. She studied their relationship. She copied Amara's dressing. She began showing up at Tund's office, coincidentally. At first, Tund found her friendly. Amara had told him Clara was like a sister after all. But soon, he noticed how Clara always positioned herself too close, how she always asked probing questions about him and Amara, how she smiled too sweetly at him. One evening, when Amara visited his apartment, she saw Clara's scarf on his couch. "Oh, I stopped by earlier," Clara had said easily when Amara asked. "Just to say hello." But inside she smirked. Step by step, Clara tightened her grip. Then came the turning point. Amara received a strange, anonymous message on her phone. Single sentence. "Ask your boyfriend about the secret he's hiding." Her heart raced. She showed Clara, hoping for reassurance. Clara widened her eyes and whispered dramatically, "Amara, maybe you should really talk to him." The seed of doubt was planted. And seeds, no matter how small, can grow into forests when watered by fear. Tund noticed the shift before Amara said a word. Her smile became shorter, her voice quieter. Her eyes carried questions she didn't ask. He reached for her one evening, holding her hands. Amara, what's wrong? She wanted to say everything. She wanted to pour out the fear bubbling inside her. But Clara's voice echoed in her mind. It might be nothing, but you never know. So she lied. Nothing, I'm just tired. Yet doubt gnawed at her. Clara intensified her game. She staged scenes, little traps meant to break Amara's trust. One afternoon, Clara asked Amara to borrow her car to run a quick errand. Instead, she drove straight to Tun's office at lunchtime and made sure people saw her hugging him as she delivered a gift she claimed Amara sent. Tun was confused. The staff whispered. Rumors began to spread. The next day, Clara accidentally let one of those rumors slip to Amara. Someone said they saw Tund with a woman yesterday, she said, pretending to hesitate. I told them it couldn't be true, but I thought you should know. Just in case. Cracks spread through Amara's heart. She confronted Tund at last. Tund, is there anything you're hiding from me? He was stunned. What? Amara, no. What's going on? She didn't know how to explain. The lies, the whispers, the anonymous messages, all tangled around her like a web. Tund tried to hold her. Whatever this is, we'll fix it. Together. But Clara wasn't finished. That night, Amara received another message. A photo of Clara and Tund from the staged hug, cropped to look intimate. Amara stared at it, cold washing through her body. And in that moment, the trust that held their love together cracked apart. The distance between Amara and Tund grew until it felt like a canyon. They argued. They misunderstood each other. They pulled away. Clara was delighted. She began taking Amara out more, spending more time at her home, presenting herself as the only one who truly cared. Whenever Amara cried, Clara held her. Whenever Amara doubted herself, Clara whispered false comfort. Poor Amara leaned on the one person silently destroying her life. Then Clara made her boldest move. She came to Tund's apartment one evening, pretending to want to help fix things. Tund, she said softly, Amara is hurting but she's confused. Give her time. Tund looked exhausted. Clara, I don't know what I'm fighting anymore. Something is wrong and she won't talk. Clara stepped closer. Maybe she's not ready for someone like you. You're too good for all this stress. Tund frowned. Clara, what are you? But before he finished, Clara placed her palm on his chest, looking into his eyes with deliberate softness. Tund immediately stepped back. Stop. That's not appropriate. Clara laughed lightly. Relax. I'm just helping. But her plan didn't work. Tund was loyal, too loyal for her tactic. So she shifted strategy. 1 week later, Amara received a call from Clara, her voice trembling convincingly. Amara, I didn't want to tell you, but when I visited Tund, he tried to get close to me. Amara froze. What? I pushed him away, Clara whispered. But I think he's losing interest in you. Something inside Amara broke violently. She ended things with Tund that evening. No explanation, no discussion, just heartbreak wrapped in silence. Tund was devastated, but he sensed a hidden hand. He promised himself he would find the truth, and slowly, painfully, the mask Clara had worn for years began to slip. Weeks passed. Amara became a shell, quiet, thin-voiced, moving through her days like someone who had misplaced her soul. She decorated homes with shaking hands, smiled at clients with a dimness in her eyes, and returned home each night to silence that felt heavier than stone. Clara stayed close, always appearing with the right words, the right hugs, the right false sympathy. She wiped Amara's tears, cooked for her, sat beside her, playing the role of the perfect friend, while secretly feeding off the damage she had caused. But Tund was not a man who gave up easily. Even in heartbreak, his mind was restless. Something in him refused to accept the sudden collapse of the love he felt was destined. He replayed the events in his head at night, questioned every rumor, sifted through every strange coincidence. And gradually, patterns formed. People in his office mentioned how Clara always appeared before drama. Neighbors whispered that they saw Clara lingering near his home on days things went wrong. A shop attendant mentioned how Clara once asked strange questions about his schedule, pretending to be curious for Amara's sake. One woman even said, "Clara's smile is sweet, but her questions sound like someone digging for trouble." Tun's chest tightened. But the final straw came on a Wednesday afternoon. A junior staff member knocked on his office door, looking uneasy. "Sir, I don't know if this matters, but I saw Miss Clara give money to the courier who brought that anonymous message months ago." Tun's heart slammed against his ribs. The staff member continued. "She told him not to mention her name. I didn't understand then, but now, I think you should know." Tun stood completely still. Everything clicked together, like shattered pieces of glass falling into a perfect image. The anonymous messages, the fake rumors, the staged hug, the growing tension, Amara's breakdown. Clara was the ghost behind every nightmare. Clara was the whisper that poisoned Amara's heart. Clara was the storm that destroyed their happiness. A rush of anger, heartbreak, disbelief, and determination flooded him. He grabbed his keys, heading straight to Amara's home. He had to tell her. He had to show her. He had to save her from the darkness she didn't even know she was living with. Amara was sitting on her balcony when she saw Tun's car park outside. Her heart clenched. She wasn't ready for this. She wasn't ready for any more pain. Tund climbed the stairs quickly but gently, like a man carrying truth in one hand and fear in the other. "Amara," he said softly. She didn't look at him. "Why are you here, Tund?" "Because you deserve the truth," he replied, voice firm. "And because someone has been feeding you lies." At that moment, footsteps sounded behind them. Clara appeared, holding a tray of juice with her usual gentle smile. "Oh, Tund," she said calmly, as if she hadn't tried to destroy his life. "You should leave. Amara doesn't need stress." Tund stared at her, really stared, and for the first time Amara noticed the tension burning between them. "Amara," Tund said, never taking his eyes off Clara, "did you ever wonder why every problem we had somehow came through her?" Clara's smile twitched, just a little. "Tund, don't start," she said sweetly. But Tund was ready. He pulled out his phone. "I have proof. Witnesses. People who saw you. People you paid. People who told me everything." Clara froze. Amara finally lifted her head, eyes wide. "Clara, what is he talking about?" For the first time, Clara's mask cracked. Just a flicker. Just a trembling in her fingers. But Tund caught it. "You ruined my relationship," he said. "You poisoned her heart against me. You manipulated everything." Clara's breathing quickened. "No, Amara, he's lying. You know me. I would never." Tund cut her off. "You would. And you did." He showed Amara screenshots of messages, statements from those who had seen Clara's actions. Amara's hands shook violently. Her world blurred. Her breath caught. "Clara," she whispered, voice breaking. "Tell me this isn't true." Clara's lips parted, but no words came out, just panic. Then, like a cornered animal, she snapped. "Fine," she screamed. "Yes, I did it. Because you, both of you, had everything. And I had nothing. I was always in your shadow, Amara. Always second. Always overlooked." Amara stepped back, heart cracking into pieces. Clara continued, tears of rage streaming down her face. "You found love, happiness, success. And what about me? I deserved something too." Tund shook his head in disbelief. "So you destroyed her life." "I wanted my chance," Clara shouted. "I wanted to be the one." But those words, twisted and dripping with envy, only made the truth more painful. Amara dropped to her knees, sobbing. Not because of the betrayal, but because it was done by the one person she trusted beyond measure. Clara looked at her, suddenly terrified by what she had done. She reached out. "Amara, please." But Amara recoiled as if touched by fire. "Don't," she whispered. "Don't ever call my name again." Silence fell. A silence so deep it felt like the air itself was grieving. Clara looked from Amara to Tund, realizing she had lost everything: friendship, trust, respect, and the one person who had ever truly cared about her. She stepped back slowly, then turned and ran down the stairs, disappearing into the night. Tund knelt beside Amara. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I'm so sorry you went through this." Amara sobbed until her voice broke completely. Tund held her, not as a lover trying to win her back, but as someone who refused to let her face pain alone. When she finally looked at him, her eyes were swollen but clearer than they had been in months. "Tund," she whispered, "thank you for not giving up." He nodded. "I promise to love you, even when it's hard." And for the first time in a long time, Amara felt a glimmer of peace. The truth had spoken. The darkness had been exposed. And healing, slow, fragile healing, finally began.